All right. Good evening. All right. Michael, where are you located?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That's what I thought. All right. What are you doing in Charlotte now?
I am EC teacher.
I saw your name. I saw Charlotte popped up when it came by. Um, so you're doing EC and you want to move into EDLS. Um, the good thing is the residency weekends are in Charlotte. We're down at
Okay.
for right now, we're down at Airwood Road. I think we're going to move somewhere else, but we have our own facility down there right now, but I don't know where that, but we're going to be in Charlotte uh,
Okay.
for the weekends. It's 3 weekends each semester, including the summer. Uh,
Okay.
and it cuts down on the expense if you can stay at home and just show up for class on Saturday and Sunday mornings 3 times a semester. As expensive as rooms in Charlotte have gotten. Uh,
Oh, they have gotten really expensive.
yeah. So that cuts back on that. And so um now the issue is going to be, and that's the reason I asked what you were doing. We have the electronic portfolio. All these
Okay.
programs have them where you have to complete an evidence. It's all laid out for you. It's very simple. But the issue is the evidences in the EDLS program are not school based, they're district based.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean you can't do it. I have people do it all the time. I just like for people to know up front that you're not going to be able just to collect data at your school. You're probably going to have to hook up with somebody at the district level that would facilitate you when you would have to do some of these district plans that you have to do and get this district data. Um,
Okay.
but we got plenty of good people in Charlotte that are working with us, that are adjuncting with us, that will make sure that you get that. So I said that to say when you look at these evidences and you say, "Oh my, I've got to get that from the personnel, from human resources. I've got to get this, that, and the other," and you're kind of, well, how am I going? We will facilitate you to do that.
Okay.
If you're not if you're still school based, we will help you get that stuff.
Okay.
So it's not just a program for central office. We have a lot of school-based people who do the program.
Okay.
So that's always the biggest question. That's the biggest fear that people have is, you know, how am I going to do my evidence work if I'm not at central office when it's central office evidences? We will facilitate that. It can get done. Hey,
Okay.
Kitty, it's good to see you tonight.
Yes, good to
What in
see
the
you.
world are you wanting to do now?
So I'm ready for moving to that central office area as well.
All right.
I
So what
definitely
kind of
want.
licensure do you have right now?
Currently, I do have my K-12 principal license.
K-12 principal.
Yes. I kind of want to start there. I want to. I'm
Well,
looking
that's
to get
what
the
you need.
principalship.
That's all you need for right now
Yeah.
is K-12. Now,
Yeah.
down the road, you might want to, I don't know if you want to go back and do a whole doctoral program or not.
I really don't.
What I mean is 63 credit hours. That's like cost of a house nowadays.
That's
This
true.
program is way too expensive, but
Great.
everything is. Um, but I would not recommend. And when you get a principal's position, call me and
Okay.
we'll work this out.
Okay.
But until you get that principal position, don't you got to know which direction you're going to go. You might want to go curriculum since you've already got leadership.
Yeah.
And that's probably would be my recommendation just today is
Yes.
go curriculum.
Okay.
Um, you know, one of the problems with it, if all your degrees are only in leadership and none of them
Mm-hmm.
are ever in curriculum, um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be doing operations, you'll be doing discipline, you'll be doing those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And it really narrows the tunnel down, to your success. It
Yes.
gets kind of pinched. Nowadays,
Yes.
everybody likes to see some sort of a curriculum background. Um,
Lovely.
even
Okay.
if it's not a curriculum degree, they want to see a curriculum background. And I never encourage people to just continue to get leadership or ed leadership when they've already got that and you've already got a principal's license. Get that principal's license, find out what area of the central office you want to go to, and then we can plan you a program that will get you there that won't cost an arm and a leg.
Absolutely, Dr. Lamb. Perfect. That's
That's what
perfect.
we'll do.
That's perfect.
Because,
Okay.
you two things, you get in these programs to get out. I don't want you to be in it as old as I am. That's number one. And number two, you got to be able to pay for it.
Yep.
I don't want it to be crippling debt for the rest of your life either.
Right.
Um, I mean, that's no way to live your life. And so I'm always caught, you know me, I'm always cognizant of that more than anything else.
Right.
How are we going to live with this thing?
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's not about it. I know you can do the work. That's not the issue. Do you want to put yourself, you want to get the right direction. You want to be time and money well spent because doctoral programs, as are about hard work and sacrifice. People think
Mhm.
that's the same thing. It's not. We expect you're going to work hard. The sacrifice is what you have to give up during that time. And you know that because it's very time consuming.
Mhm.
Those doggone evidences and then writing a dissertation at the end, that's just, you got to give up something. You got to give up 20 hours of your life somewhere.
3 years of it.
That's exactly right. 3 years of giving up 20 hours a week every week.
Mhm. Yeah.
Kids just don't understand the difference between hard work and sacrifice.
There is a difference.
No, we expect you to work hard, but what are you going to give up so that you can spend 20 hours a week on this?
Yeah.
And then what are you going to give up because going to have to come up with that money?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just paid it off. So I'm
What
definitely
I
not
mean,
jump back into it.
it'll leave a mark. I'm
It
telling you
does.
mm.
Yes.
And one of the things I know Siobhan's the sales lady, but one of the things she said is there's an awful lot of truth in is some of these programs, there's a lot of hidden cost.
Mhm.
There's a lot of fees and a lot of other things that go along with it. And by the time you divide it, it's all doctoral programs now are somewhere in the $40,000 range. I don't care if you go, they might advertise 33 at Appalachian, but by the time you pay that $1,400 fee every semester and you add that up for 6 semesters of coursework, all of a sudden that, you're at another $10,000.
Yeah.
And so, they charge what is about a $1,400 fee at the state colleges every semester, and so that they can advertise a lower per hour. It's all a bait and switch. They're all $40,000,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of money
That's a lot.
for
That's a
working
whole
people.
bar.
That's a lot of money.
So
Um,
sounds good. Okay, those are my questions because I
yeah,
was like, I don't want a whole nother program. And listen, I was trying to figure out how to pay for it again, and I want the best route. So it sounds like
yeah,
continue to work into the principal role because that's
right.
my goal.
And
Um,
and one of the things about getting in the principal, there's two things about getting in the principal role. One, sometimes they'll let you have some release time. And two, sometimes they'll help you with the cost once you're in the principal's role. And those are the two biggest things, the time and the money. And a lot of times they'll help you with both,
good to know.
or they'll accommodate you with both.
Yeah,
Um, and what, again, it's about time and money.
yeah.
That's what it's about.
Okay.
We wouldn't let you in if we didn't know you could do the work, but we love you anyway. You've been with us a long time.
I have. I'm so glad I'm done with that part.
I
So,
know.
all
It's
right.
good not to have to see me on a regular basis.
No, it was so good. He's lovely, lively. So, Miss Wood, Mr. Jones, if you're going, this is the one to go to. He's great. So
Thank
I will
you.
call you. Let me give me a year within this
Give
year.
me take a year and then call me and we'll figure
Okay.
you out a route that that's doable time
Yeah.
wise and money wise.
Perfect. All righty.
All right, it's
Thank
good to
you
see
so
you
much.
tonight. All right. So let me share my screen, and that's what I was referring to is I've got our handbook pulled up here. I think I've got it to the right place. 63 credit hours. Woo. Times how much did they say it was? 600. How much a cement of credit hour? It's $40,000. You take it. The number of credit hours varies. The first semester is 7. Then you do a 9-hour course with a 1-hour dissertation seminar, and then you do another 9-hour, and then you do a 12-hour, then a 6, a 6, a 6, and then you do dissertation for 3 and 3, and keep on doing 3 until you finish. You'd like to stop at 63, but you know the thing to remember about a doctoral program is that you don't finish until you finish that dissertation. Just finishing your coursework is good, but that doesn't finish your degree. It's getting that dissertation written. Dissertation writing is hard. It's time consuming, and it can get expensive if if you don't get on the ball. And so I work really hard with mine to make sure that we don't stay in dissertation forever. Now we have a coaching seminar. We have a coach for you every semester, and you can start writing from the first semester. And then just as soon as you finish your coursework that last year, you have a chair and a committee, and we work on that stuff day and night. I'll share this with you. Let me see. Let me share my screen again. I'll share the one from last semester, and you get the full tilt on this thing here. Let me move that out of the way. So what I do, and I don't coach, I chair. Full-time people don't usually coach. I just chair and do methodology. I'm a methodologist. And so you can see my sign up screen from spring. I do all day Mondays, all day Fridays, and I do 2 nights a week. I meet with my dissertation folks. You can see the sign ups, hour blocks at a time. You just sign up, we work. That's every week. You have an opportunity to work with me or with your chair every week. That's what Siobhan was talking about. We do the personal touch. We spend the time. It's but you got to find the time to meet with us. I'm available. Everybody is. Everybody does a spreadsheet. We're all available. Your coach is available. But you got to find the time to work. All you got to do, sign up for time, send me what you've been working on this week, and we go through it. I had a session before this one tonight. I did a session tonight before this one. I do one every night of the week that I'm not teaching. I do dissertation sessions. And then all day Monday, all day Friday during the day. So, there's no excuse. I would do them on Saturday and Sunday, but I'm teaching classes. We have residency classes on the weekend. And so there's no excuse not to work on it. It's just, again, what will you give up in order to devote the time to writing that dissertation? It's pretty easy to do your coursework because it's a regular meeting, it's responsible, but after that, it's all up to you to book the time and do the work. So it's pretty, I'm probably the last person to ask since I'm the program coordinator, but it's pretty user friendly. That's the thing is we know your name, we know who you are, we meet with you individually. We don't just do group sessions. I hate those deals. What is it? They have the cafe or coffee where everybody just drops in like a ladies drop-in shower. That's probably pejorative from my age. But no, put your name down and you're gonna meet with me individually and we're gonna look at your work. What you've done or not done. I won't let all you blood out, but I'll take some of it every now and then. But that's the notion is we don't just do group sessions where you just come shout questions out into the void that are just general questions. We talk about your work. We go over it individually. We go over it line by line. We work with you on your work in dissertation. You know, now full disclosure, I am this old. Um, I, I was in my doctoral program in the 1980s. Yes, in the 1980s, at Chapel Hill. You insert bad joke here. Yes, I'm that old. It was unheard of to get any time. You got about, of course, we didn't have email, we didn't have video, we didn't have any of that back then. Of course, we just had barely been out of horse and buggies. But you got to see your chair one time a semester. You better be ready. You got one time a semester to see your chair, one time. And you had to drive to Chapel Hill to see him, wherever you were. And so you got one time a semester. Um, but the expectation then is that it was a minimum of 6 years, because it was never, dissertation was minimum of 3. It wasn't going to be fast. Was not going to be fast, not in those days. But also it was, it might be the oldest, state university in the United States and the most prestigious or whatever, but that wasn't that. They didn't devote the time in dissertation. That's why only about a fourth of the people that ever started finished it, back in those days. That is not acceptable nowadays. We want everybody that starts to finish. That's my goal. If I have to stay up all day and all night, if I have to carry 2 of you, I'll carry you 2 at a time, one in each arm. But we're going to get across that finish line. Now, when you see graduation at Gardner Webb and you see me up on stage and all them people hugging me and I just, one after the other, that's my bunch. We're going to get through. We are going to get through. We got 41 through this spring. 41. And so, you got in to get out. That's our goal. We could all do better if we had more time. No, our job is to get done. We do dissertations that we have a clear path to data that people are going to let us do, where we can get our data and run them. We go. We don't wait around. I can run your descriptive statistics out of Qualtrics in minutes. I can run your thematic analysis out of in vivo in a matter of minutes. There's no excuse. We have our own survey system, Qualtrics, where we send your surveys out if you're doing survey methodology. If you're doing interviews, we have Microsoft Sync Team set up where it'll generate your transcripts. We clean them up. We run them through the software. We do not belabor this thing. We use all the modern technology. I do AI. I'm teaching an innovation course over an organizational this summer on how to do a dissertation using AI ethically. I use AI all the time. Why do I want to make it hard? I want to, I'm at the end of it. I want to get it done. I'll advise you from doing crazy things that take forever or that nobody will let you do. Worked on one last night with her. A lot of times the chair meets with me as the methodologist, and I changed one last night, but it didn't change anything but a couple of pieces. She didn't have to rewrite anything, but to make it more user friendly so that her district would let her do it. Remember, you have to partner with your district. 95% of the time you're partnering, Michael, you'll partner with Charlotte Mecklenburg. You'll have to go through their Office of Research to get permission to run your dissertation to collect your data. And so we don't do stuff that's going to be controversial or going to take forever or, shed a bad light on somebody. We don't do those. We do things that benefit our partner, our K-12 partners. We don't try to put a tire around their neck and light it on fire. We don't do that. No. We're not trying to improve things rather than tear them down. Now that's part of our Christian service ethic as well. Now we're a bunch of Christians. That's true. If you have me up with class on Sunday morning, I'll have my suit on and I'll have my sermon on Sunday morning. But that's all part of our ethic is we're not trying to destroy school districts. We're not trying to shine a bad light on them or light them on fire. We're trying to improve them. We try to do things that are helpful to them. And it's amazing when you do that, how much more willing partners they are to let you conduct your study in their district. because they know that we're not there to blindside them or gotcha or any of that. We work through Christian servant leadership principles. We're trying to serve the districts that you work in. And that's real. That's real. That's not just grist for the mill. That's real and true. You know, and so, believe it or not, the hard part about this story is that I have friends. I still have friends in Charlotte. I'm too old, but most of them, I'm too old. They didn't work with me the years that I was there, but some of them did, and some of them were my former students. Some of them are I've got, I had two principals in my class this past spring. I know, a lot of those people, some of them I hired them. The superintendent in Charlotte, I taught her in her doctoral program. Yes, I'm that old. I did 32 years in public school before I retired, and I've done another whole career. But why would we want to hurt our own people? These are our people. Many of them adjunct for us, graduates of our places. We're not out to hurt anybody. We don't do that kind of stuff. And so that's one of the reasons why our folks are more successful getting jobs and getting through their programs is we see working with your district as a partnership. Crystal was our graduation speaker, not this spring, but last spring. I mean, at Gardner Webb. I mean, these are our folks. We look after our people. We expect you to look after them and be, a good Christian person, ethically sound, and that's the way we approach dissertations. We do not have problems getting folks to let us do dissertations. We don't do the stuff that some places do, the groundbreaking stuff that causes all the big headlines. We don't do that stuff. No, 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 no. So if you want to do that kind of stuff, there's a lot of places that do that. Not us. Not us. We do things to help the districts, not hurt them. And I
Well,
would advise you, even if you don't come to Gardner Webb, make sure that you go to a place that has that understanding of the dissertation process. Because I tell people all the time, you've got to survive your dissertation. You got to have a job when it's over with.
yeah.
I,
So you said that you all have the partnership with CMS. So then that wouldn't be a hard thing to do.
no,
Okay.
I got Melissa on speed dial. She's the one that makes the decision. Your deputy, Melissa Balknight. She works for
Well,
me.
not. She was in Gaston at one point in
That's
time.
correct. That is correct. When she did her doctorate, she was in Gaston when she did her doctorate. I did a partnership deal with her and MSA 3 years ago where we did 14 of theirs. We do partnerships. We got a grant in Charlotte where we're going to do some principal training. We work with these. They're in our collaborative. We
Okay.
have a Foothills collaborative that they're in. We partner with these people specifically. We give
Okay.
them price breaks. We work, we train. We did a half price deal with Gaston and we trained 14 for half price. Um, did their nieces training as well as their MSA and got the county commissioners in Gaston to pay for the other half so it didn't cost the school district anything. Of course, the superintendent there was my doctoral student. I was his chair. That was when Booker was superintendent there. I mean,
Okay.
these are our friends and colleagues. A lot of them, we hired or we supervised or, you know, me, both hired, supervised, or taught. I mean, that Booker he was a triple threat. Hired him, supervised him, and then I later taught him in the doctoral program. Uh,
Okay.
and so we have these relationships with these people. You won't have a problem getting your dissertation topic approved in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, nor Gaston, nor Lincoln, or Cleveland. Steve Fisher from Cleveland, very good friend of mine, works for me, taught for me this semester. He taught 732 for me this semester. We
Okay.
have these people teaching for us as well. We don't want you just with old people like me that's been out of it so long. We have current superintendents and assistant superintendents and principals working with us.
Okay.
And we do that intentionally. They get to know you, they get to see you. Sometimes they recruit you. But that gives us an entree for you to go to their district and do work and get your dissertation done. No data, no dissertation. You got to have data from somewhere.
That's true. Okay.
And so we have all these relationships. We have memorandums of understanding with every school district in North Carolina, and I think all but about three in South Carolina. But we also have a Foothills Collaborative partnership where we do tuition breaks and those kinds of things. I mean, we've got something going on with these people all the time. They're working with us. They're teaching for us.
Okay.
They're doing dissertation work with us. We see it as a true partnership. We don't do like the state colleges and set ourselves aside. We're not ashamed to partner with people and work at that level. And universities don't like to do that because they want to be, professors
Yeah.
and, do a few office hours every now and then and complain about everything. That's not what we do. That's not what we do. Um, that's not serving God nor humanity. No, that's what we do. Pro Deo et Humanitate, service for God and humanity. If I remember my high school Latin well enough.
I was
Uh,
gonna say that was nice. I haven't heard Latin in a very long time.
yeah, that's that's Gardner Webb's motto. And we have, Sunday at the Webb, we have church service at 9 o'clock in our classes. Some people do
Okay.
devotional. I don't. I do the whole thing. You get the full bore with me, except for the last Sunday. Then I do TD Jakes. I do the 35-minute Jakes sermon.
Uh,
I play his video at the last one. I don't do the hour and a half one, which is my favorite, but I do the 30-minute one.
okay.
It's a great lesson in leadership on confidants, comrades, and constituents. How to build your team as a leader. He
Hmm.
does a wonderful 35-minute sermon at his church in Texas. But yeah, no, we're not ashamed of who we are. Um, and but the good thing is it kind of guides our conduct as well in terms of how
That's
you
good.
get treated. Um, you can't just claim to be Christian on Sunday every now and then. It's not about clothes you wear. It's about how you conduct your life. That's what your faith is. That's what your Christian that's what your religion is how you live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I preached that son. I preached that sermon at St. Mark's when I was a high school principal in Charlotte. About that run out of town. They wanted to know what they could do to the community. I became the new principal there, and so I went to the Baptist church and did a sermon on Sunday. Well, that's what I do. And
That.
so, they wanted to know what they could do. I said, what I need for you to do is teach your kids. It's not about where you go on Sunday and the clothes you wear. It's about how you conduct your life. You know, and so parents didn't really want to hear that. I don't think.
Of
And
course
I
not.
said, the thing is for you to tell them how to conduct their life, that means that you need to be conducting your life in the way of the Lord. So
Correct.
it got a little bit personal there, but you asked me, you invited me, so I told you. And so, but that's the whole notion at a Christian university is we don't just talk about it. That's how we live it. That's different than state colleges. I'm a product of state colleges, but that's why I enjoy being at Gardner Webb in that, I'm just an old school Baptist. I've got a Bible right there in my bag. I've got one in that nightstand right over there. Now I'm a back row Baptist. I sit in the back, but I'm there. Um,
At least you're there.
at least you're there. That's what I mean. You got to find a program. As much time as you're going to be spending and as much money and the time, and again, we go back to time and money. You better find a place that matches your values, your ethics, your faith, whatever it is. You better find a place that matches that because doctoral program's not like anything else you've ever done. I
Okay.
mean, when you see us, at graduation and you see all the hugging and slobbering and all that stuff, that's real. I mean, these people, Jennifer called, she graduated December before last. She still calls me once a week like my oldest daughter. She calls more than my kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. She was elementary principal at Nebo. I used to go by every Friday and see her on my way home. And
Okay.
we got through, and now she's executive director of exceptional children at McDowell County. But yeah, I mean, these people, I mean, this becomes your life. This becomes your career. These people become a part of your life like your family. You see them more than your family. You better make sure you pick the right ones. I can tell you that. Because you're
Gotcha.
going to be with them in dissertation as much or more than your family.
Gotcha.
And their value system has to mesh with your value system. That's the biggest thing. What y'all, what you believe, how you conduct your life, how you conduct yourself as a professional, or just how a member of society. If you like that impersonal, where you're just a face, I can highly recommend that you should go to a state university. Um,
Okay.
and a lot of people like that. There's nothing wrong with that. They want a complete sectarian experience, got nothing to do with religion or faith. They don't want to be engaging with people for new relationships. They just want to get done. Hey, that's the thing to do. If that's what you're interested in, you need to go to a state college because that's what they offer. It's quick and impersonal.
Well, my grandfather used to say, he was big on community, and he would always say, if you only had two teeth in your mouth, they look better together.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of get the sense of having community.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not everybody doesn't want that, and that there's nothing wrong if you don't. But if that's what you need to get through, you get a sense of community in your classes, the groups that you work with, the adjuncts and the full-time people. We don't make any distinction between us. We all just work together. Um, I don't know. It's just different than state college. It just is. Um, it's just different. I'm not saying it's better. It's just different. And it's
Different.
it's according to what you're looking for. It's according to that piece. I'm belaboring the point here, but again, time and money, you're investing a lot of both. It's got to be a fit. It's got
Okay.
to be a fit. And sometimes that's more important than anything else is the fit, the ethic of how it all operates together. You don't show up, I'm going to be hunting you. Yeah. I'm just as surprised as you. I never have problems with students turning in their work. I never have problems with them coming to class. I'm amazed too. I wouldn't come at all if I had to come listen to me. They show up, they come, they do their work
The
because they
Saturday,
know that I'm gonna be on their doorstep. If they don't, I'll show up at your school.
the Saturday and Sundays, is that 6 or 8 hours?
We go from 9 to 4 on Saturday and generally about 9 to 1 on Sunday,
Okay.
especially if it's ball game day. We wait till the ball game starts at 1 o'clock in the fall of the year. And as soon as the game starts at 1 and the traffic dies down, we bolt out of town. Um, so that we don't get caught up in that afternoon traffic because we don't want to be there because everybody's got to go back to work on Monday morning.
Right.
So we try to get you out by 1 o'clock on Sunday if we can. Sometimes it might run a little bit late. I think this semester I got out every time by 1 this semester. Sometimes I'll run a few minutes over, but Saturday we pretty much stay till 4 o'clock on Saturdays.
Okay.
9 to 4. Now I bring breakfast. I'll buy lunch one time a semester. We have stuff. I make coffee. I have all my stuff set up there. We have coffee and pastries. I bring biscuits one time. We have something to eat. But 9 o'clock, we're ready to roll.
Okay.
We get after it. Now, I'm not big on breaking or any of that. People just go to the bathroom when you need to. We got to go. Uh,
Okay.
we do. I do a lot of student presentations on the weekend, where students are actively involved. They get up and do they're in groups and do their presentations or singularly. I do a lot of that. You have at least one content weekend where you have to listen to me drone on Saturday, but usually every Sunday we just do presentations, and then sometimes on Saturdays I'll give them a half a day. But we'd have to do some content, but I don't want to have to do content all weekend. That'd drive people off.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Miss Woods, you have any questions? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, you're more than welcome. I know. I appreciate you because I was going between Gardner Webb because it was displayed. I'm also in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. It was
Yeah.
displayed in our workroom, but I've always been on Regent's University's
Yeah.
radar. And then just principally because what you were saying is I have the education background or whatever, but I really wanted something that was based on my religion, Christianity, and it was Christ focused. And I'm like, I think I'm just gonna go with Regent because I'm a little tired of, state colleges, liberal colleges, their slants or whatnot. So I was totally shocked when we were talking about Gardner Webb's background. I'm like, okay, this is something doable. So it
Yeah.
was very good to hear.
Regents is a good place. I don't have any, there's no but coming. I don't have anything bad to say about them. Um, and their ethic, and
Mm-hmm.
the state college ethic. And
Mm-hmm.
part of the problem with the state college ethic is they've become very liberal.
Yes.
Um, and very sectarian. They wouldn't dare mention religion. I mean, when I teach ethics, 738, excuse me. Yeah, 738. I just taught 738 law and ethics this semester. It's kind of hard to talk about ethics if you don't throw a little religion in there about how you ought to live your life. It's kind of hard to talk about ethics
Mm-hmm.
because when I was an elementary principal a long, long time ago, that those little kids, the littles as we called them back then, they asked some tough questions because you know what they always ask, no matter what you told them, why? When you tell somebody, you need to be honorable and ethical and legal
Wow.
and loyal and all that. Why? Because God said that's how you're supposed to conduct yourself. You know, that's why. I don't have trouble telling you why you need to follow, law and ethics to be more Christ-like, to live a more Christ-like existence. Now, I don't know what they tell you over at the state colleges now. I guess they tell you so you can stay out of jail, but I don't. I was a product of the state colleges. I mean, I went to NC State undergraduate, master's, and I went to Chapel Hill for my doctorate. I picked up my principal's license at Appalachian in between master's and doctorate at State in Carolina. I went there, and so but I went there because it was cheap and they didn't bother me. I could get through. Just get out
Mm-hmm.
of the way. And we didn't have all these little regional doctoral programs like at Charlotte or at Greensboro or at Appalachian or Western. Those didn't exist back then. There was only two doctoral programs at State in Carolina. And since I'd already matriculated at State, I went to Carolina. That was it. But it was a different deal. It was
Mm-hmm.
a different deal than what we do. You just had general classes. You didn't make relationships. It was just, it was just get through. It was just get through. But having a degree from Chapel Hill matters. I mean, that opens lots of doors to do that. But now that's a different deal.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you got to find something that matches who you are, because that's part of your motivation to get it done. I find that it can't always. I mean, your intrinsic motivation, if it doesn't match who you are, if you don't feel good about what you're doing, you won't do it.
All right.
I wish it was, we could just, the extra, promotions, job, money. No.
Mm-hmm.
Dissertation work is all about intrinsic motivation. Completely about intrinsic motivation. Well, I see my time is up. It's 8 o'clock. If I go past my time, I'll get an ugly email tomorrow about talking too much as I normally do. But I appreciate y'all being with us. If you have any questions, let me drop my cell phone number in the chat right quick. I should have already done it. And I will answer this, by the way. This is not, you won't get the Chinese laundry.
Okay.
575-439. That is me. 575-4399. I'll answer if I'm on the phone all day. I don't have a voicemail. I just call you right back. There it is. You can call me if you've got questions. We'll probably have 2 cohorts in Charlotte this fall. We try to break them off at 10. We don't just put all 20 in one room. We do 10 and 10. We try to keep doctorals around 10. We don't like to have more than that in a group. We sometimes do, but we try not to. That's why we try to make 20 rather than 15. If you have 15, you just have one. It's too many. It's too many. You don't get enough time. We want you to have time. So, I had a big group this spring, so I did 2 nights a week with them. So they'd all have enough time to get to present their materials, get feedback. We're preparing you not only to do a dissertation, but for the world of work. It's important that you learn that stuff, how to present. All right. I appreciate you both being with me tonight. Call my cell if you need anything. I'm D Lamb, just DLAMB. I'm so old. I'm D Lamb at gardner-webb.edu. I don't have all those numbers and all that other stuff that everybody else has got. I'm just D Lamb.
D Lamb.
I'm from the old school. All right. It's good to see you both tonight. Y'all have a good week. Thank you.
Thank you. You do the same.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.